I listened to the first episode of your podcast yesterday, enjoyed it. I was surprised by the reaction that both you and Kellyanne got, mostly directed at you, after the podcast was announced. A lot of it from Democrats, a lot of it along the lines of how can David Plouffe do something with the woman known for alternative facts? We're fighting for the future of the country. Fascism is on the ballot. I want to give you a chance to respond to that. Why is it important for Democratic operative like you to be hosting a show with a Republican operative like her who still has a close relationship with President Trump?
Right, Michael. Well, I had a podcast the last two election cycles, which I really enjoyed. Talked to political reporters, talked to a lot of Democratic operatives. The Republicans I talk to tend to be in the another Trump camp. And as I thought about whether I wanted to bring something back for this cycle, what interested me was, because I feel like I have a lot to learn, is somebody who understands, Donald Trump and that world and that electorate, as painful as it may be. I think people will benefit from it. I've led a presidential campaign, building a Democratic coalition of 270 electoral votes. She's done it on the Republican side. And again, politics is not, shooting free throws. It's contest. And so I think people will benefit from that. Now, of course, we'll get into it as we did in the first episode. We won't agree on many issues, but we can also speak as practitioners. So the episode coming out next week, we go deep on early vote. I think there'll be some surprising comments from Kellyanne on that. We'll talk about the states, debate preparation, things that I think people will value from, because again, Republicans look at the path to 270, even if we agree on the states a little bit differently, as the way they run campaigns. Obviously, Donald Trump's very different than Joe Biden. So, I get it. She's been someone who, now, she did not deny the election, super low bar, I get it, but I wouldn't do anything with anybody who denied the election. But, at the end of the day, the list of people who understand Donald Trump, how to win a presidential campaign, and who believe the winner of the most votes should win. Listen, that whole party, for the most part, supports him. Therefore, you're supporting someone who, supports election denialism. I get that it's painful, but I'm deep enough in life that I want to do things that are interesting. And I think I will be smarter about this election if I'm every week talking to someone who understands him and that electorate and how Republicans run races, even though it will be painful sometimes. I get that. But for me, I think if people don't want to get value from that, they don't have to. There's lots of smart podcasts out there, shows like this, where people can learn. But I think one of the reasons parties tend to get surprised when they don't win is, they tend to listen to people who say, well, that's a bad poll, don't believe it. Or, I remember back in 12, Republicans are shocked when we won because Fox had spent, the fall saying Mitt Romney was going to win. Obviously, Democrats have been surprised through the years. Republicans were shocked in 20 that Biden won despite the polls. So, those that listen to this, I think will hear hopefully some smart practitioners' commentary on the machinery of presidential campaigns. But also, understand that this is the way I see it. I'm always going to look at the world a little bit more through probably rose-colored glasses as it relates to Democrats, and she'll do the same for Republicans. But I think there's value there, and I certainly was hungering for kind of going through this election with someone, again, who I have passionate disagreements with on just about every policy issue, and really detest the person she helped elect. That's true. But I think there's some value in us listening to folks who might have a little bit different experience. So we have a kind of a 360 view of how this really important presidential race is going to unfold.